A lot of Republicans today are accusing Democrats of weaponizing prosecutions to get Donald Trump. They've been calling for 3 years for the man to be indicted on something, anything, putting behind bars, throwing him under the jail, something. The Republicans who say the Democrats are weaponizing the prosecutorial system to get Donald Trump actually don't know what they are talking about. Democrats have been doing this for quite a while. You got to remember your history. In 2005, Tom DeLay, highly effective House Republican leader, the Travis County District Attorney in Austin, Texas, indicted him for campaign finance violations. He was found guilty by the libs in Travis County, that's Austin, Texas, thrown out on appeal. Then there was Rick Perry. Rick Perry threatened to veto legislation if it didn't include defunding a program in Austin, Texas. The Travis County DA indicted him. Claimed he was threatening intimidation in exchange for getting something from the legislature. It was thrown out. She herself went to jail on a DUI. Then there's Bob McDonnell, the former governor of Virginia, who was indicted because his wife was getting favors from people. It was thrown out by the United States Supreme Court. It was Jack Smith, the guy investigating Trump for the Mar-a-Lago classified documents, who prosecuted Bob McDonnell. Democrats have already weaponized prosecutions against Democrats using campaign and campaign finance laws to do it. And here now is what they're attempting to do to Donald Trump. According to Mike Isikoff at Yahoo News, what the indictments will be is 34 counts related to business transactions that are all misdemeanors. Meaning you don't go to jail, you pay a small fine, you don't lose your right to vote, anything. But the statute of limitations has expired. So what the district attorney in Manhattan, a county district attorney, not a state level prosecutor, but a county prosecutor, what he intends to do is claim there's an overarching federal campaign finance violation for which Donald Trump has never been prosecuted and never found guilty, and he's going to use those to get Donald Trump on misdemeanors. But because he wants to show a federal crime, he can elevate those misdemeanors to felonies. But no one has ever been found guilty of this particular federal crime. In fact, the one time anyone's been prosecuted for it, former vice presidential candidate John Edwards from the Democratic side, he was thrown out by a jury. What happened, based on the claims from press reports thus far, is that Stormy Daniels, the porn star who Donald Trump had an affair with, and let's just stop playing alleged. He slept with Stormy Daniels. He lacks impulse control, couldn't keep it in his pants. Had he, we wouldn't be here today. Stormy Daniels threatened to go public with her story. So Michael Cohen paid her a lot of money. The Trump organization itself, the company, then paid Michael Cohen back for doing so. If it was just a paperwork violation, if it was a pass-through through Michael Cohen to Stormy Daniels, they documented it wrong on the paperwork, that's just a misdemeanor, if caught. What the DA wants to claim is that it's a campaign finance violation, a federal campaign finance violation, because Donald Trump needed to pay Stormy Daniels to keep her quiet lest he lose the vote. This is the Democrats' theory of the case. I need all of you, left, right, center, moderate, independent, liberal, progressive, conservative, to pay attention here. This is what the prosecutor alleges. The prosecutor alleges, we are led to believe, that if Donald Trump didn't pay Stormy Daniels to shut up, that conservative voters might abandon him in the run-up to the election. The same conservative voters who stood by their man when the Billy Bush interview came out about Trump bragging about grabbing women by their you-know-what, that those people who were still standing with Trump would abandon him over the Stormy Daniels allegations. That's the theory of his case. You got to show that to get around the statute of limitations for all the other 33 charges, because those are misdemeanors and the statute of limitations is passed. Donald Trump's defense is very simple. Had he not paid that $100,000 to Stormy Daniels, he'd be on the hook for millions to Melania Trump in their prenup agreement. So it wasn't a campaign finance violation. It was about his marriage and prenup. That then throws out the campaign finance violation, which means the others are misdemeanors, which means good luck. Can't prosecute him. The Democrats have wanted him prosecuted for anything. They don't like him. And you can't have a rational discussion with the Democrat about the merits of prosecuting Donald Trump on this particular issue because they just want to get him. They just want him to go away. They want him in prison. I played for you a 3-minute, 42-second montage of the coverage of Donald Trump since 2017, wish casting by the left that Donald Trump will go to prison. And that's what we're getting today. Wish casting by the left. And they claim moral relativism if you deny it. They claim you're for Donald Trump if you deny it. They claim you're not for justice if you don't want Donald Trump to go to jail for this. I actually am for justice, which means I don't want to undermine the justice system. You stretch it too far, our system of justice tears, and this is tearing the justice system. Trying to rope in old charges with a campaign finance violation, even Joe Biden's administration refuses to prosecute Donald Trump on. A county DA in New York. Democrats did this to Tom DeLay. They did this to Rick Perry. They did this to Bob McDonnell. They're now doing this to Donald Trump. You're about to see the Republicans around the country start doing it to Democrats. It will not make it right for them to do it either. But you know what's going to happen. It's the logical consequence of this continuing to go forward and push the boundaries. The media can make a heyday here. We can dwell on the historicity of it. We can do our Walter Cronkite impression of today, ladies and gentlemen, for the first time in American history, a former president of the United States is facing indictment in the county courthouse of Lower Manhattan. But he shouldn't be. He's only doing it because progressives have insisted he be indicted. They don't care for what, for something. If they could get him for jaywalking, they would. The irony here, the ultimate irony of this case brought by Alvin Bragg, a case even his predecessor said shouldn't be brought, a case the New York Times and the Washington Post said shouldn't be brought. The irony here is Donald Trump once said that his voters would stick with him if he got out in Fifth Avenue and shot someone. The irony is, based on Alvin Bragg's history of not prosecuting crimes in New York, particularly gun crimes, if Donald Trump killed a person on Fifth Avenue, Alvin Bragg probably wouldn't prosecute him. But because he covered up a payment to a porn star, Alvin Bragg's found one thing to try to get Donald Trump for. Yes, 100%, I believe it's true that Donald Trump had the affair with Stormy Daniels. He has a history of philandering. But it doesn't mean this is the thing you try to throw him in jail on. And by the way, all of these charges together, they're not even charges by which one goes to jail in New York. You pay fines for them were he to be found guilty. It would be highly unusual for him to go to jail for this. But because they hate the man so bad, for the sin of beating them, they're going to try to throw him in prison on a charge, but for a reach into federal law is a misdemeanor for which the statute of limitations has expired. This undermines the rule of law in this country. It's not about the rule of law in this country. You stretch justice and the rule of law so far, you tear it. And today in New York, we're hearing the ripping sound of the justice system of America, and with it, the ripping apart of the democratic underpinnings of this country.